completed the first phase of its operation in Syria's flashpoint city of al-Qussayr. The Syrian army has concluded the first phase of its operation in the city of al-Qussayr. Reports from al-Qussayr say an unknown number of security agents from different foreign countries have been detained or killed during the operation. Meanwhile, the army has confiscated several arms caches, mostly containing Israeli-made ammunition. Syrian forces have been fighting insurgents in the border town in Homs province for the past week. This strategic city lies between the Syrian city of Homs and Tripoli in northern Lebanon. Israel says it will stage a military strike against Syria as soon as the government of President Bashar al-Assad collapses.
If Syria collapses tomorrow, we might find ourselves inside the turmoil very quickly and in a very large scope, because this huge arsenal that is located there just waiting to be looted can be turned to any direction, and you might find yourself forced to act in a very wide scale and at very short notice.
This is seen as part of Western-backed efforts to pave the way for a military intervention in Syria. The Israeli military has already carried out 3 airstrikes against Syria so far this year. Syria, along with a number of regional countries, has condemned the attacks as a violation of its sovereignty. Israel has recently boosted military activities in the occupied Golan Heights. As the Syrian crisis enters its 3rd year, the opponents of the Syrian government are doing their best to oust President Bashar al-Assad. This time, Saudi Arabia's crown prince has made an official visit to Ankara. This comes as Assad has claimed there's a proxy war taking place in his country, with the main contributors being Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey. PresTV's Syrian Shim is in Istanbul and has this report.
Saudi Arabia's crown prince has visited Turkey, with the Syrian crisis high on the agenda. Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud was welcomed by President Abdullah Gül at the presidential palace in Ankara. Both Turkey and Saudi Arabia have been staunch supporters of the foreign-backed militants currently waging war against the Syrian government. The Syrian president has accused Ankara of being the biggest facilitator to the armed insurgents, while Saudi Arabia has been one of the primary fundraisers.
I think that during the Turkish Prime Minister's visit to Washington, he was not able to get the results he was seeking. So now he's meeting with the Saudi Crown Prince for other options in Syria.
Saudi Arabia's interference in Syria comes at a time that the kingdom is facing its own uprisings, which Riyadh is suppressing with an iron fist. On May 17th, one Saudi Arabian street vendor died after setting himself on fire due to harsh treatment by the police in the kingdom.
Eventually, Saudi Arabia also would be faced the same problem. When any problem occurs in Saudi Arabia, the king takes some precautions, suppress the oppositions in his country. So it seems now there is no problem with Saudi Arabia, but eventually they also will face with the same problems.
Salman bin Abdulaziz is also Saudi Arabia's deputy premier and Minister of Defense. He also signed military agreements with his Turkish counterpart. The Crown Prince also met with Turkish Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Turkish Foreign Minister Ahmet Davutoğlu. The visit by Saudi Crown Prince comes only a few days before the foreign-backed Free Syrian Army will be electing a new president. Saudi Arabia is accused of funding the militants fighting the Syrian government. The Crown Prince's visit also comes at a time when Riyadh is suppressing its anti-government protests, something analysts call a major double standard on the part of the kingdom. Serena Shim, PresTV, Istanbul.
The death toll from violent clashes in Lebanon's flashpoint city of Tripoli has risen to 14. More than 100 people have also been wounded. The clashes began Sunday between supporters and opponents of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. The violence escalated after ceasefire talks between the two sides failed. Lebanese President Michel Suleiman held a high-level meeting on Tuesday to discuss the security situation in Tripoli. The city has often been the scene of fierce clashes since the beginning of unrest in Syria.